We always knew we were going to be successful, and we would have a model that would resonate with owners to join us and people to join us.
Like we have top 3 companies now who, like, what's the market share between top 3?
And honestly, being private makes us, I think, a better run business.
Why they don't have a podcast?
If they want to order all their roofs for this week, it's at the kitchen table on Sunday evening or afternoon. They should be able to do that.
Dan, I can't believe my eyes. I cannot wrap my brain around your company. Amazing tour. Thank you so much for opening doors for us. I cannot understand how can companies that started in 2009 do over $4 billion in business. It must be doing a lot of things right.
Yeah, I think so. Well, like we're very passionate about what we do. It all starts with any good company, people. A vision and a strategy. Luckily, our chairman of the board, myself, and a lot of the teammates early on, we had the good fortune of working in the industry for decades and really saw everything good that was going on in distribution, everything that wasn't going well. And when we started this company, we were able to really start from a blank sheet of paper and really take all the things we admired about all the companies in the industry and then take all the things we didn't admire and leave that out of the company culture, the architecture, the structure. So because we started so small back in 2008 with just one company, the SRS actually comes from our original acquisition, which was Suncoast Roofer Supply in Florida. So Suncoast had fallen on tough times after the housing collapse and after hurricane demand of 05, 06. So we actually bought it out of bankruptcy in 2008. So we had a management team with no company. We went out and found the company. And now since then, we've bought 91 other companies to add to it. And we've opened, I believe, 140 additional greenfield locations.
So how many locations do you have now?
Today, I think we are up to 440 total locations, about 340 in the roofing division, and about 100 to 110 in our new landscaping supply division, which is a brand new company. We started also from scratch 2 years ago.
So you started the business, I actually started about the same year. When everybody was getting out, you got in. Was it investment strategy? Did you ever think you were going to grow this big? Was it an initial goal or?
We always knew we were going to be successful, and we would have a model that would resonate with owners to join us and people to join us because of the people first culture and the equity opportunity. One of our strengths is we have the broadest equity ownership of the employee base. All 6,000 of our associates are co-owners of the company, but we're not an ESOP. We have big private equity sponsors. So we have all the capital we need to go chase acquisitions, grow the company, invest heavily, and take risk. So the employees don't have to fund all of that, but they get to ride along and benefit from that wealth creation. So one of the things I'm most proud of is we've created more millionaires in our company, employees, than I think every other company in our industry in the last decade. Right now, over 150 employees are already millionaires, including a warehouseman that makes $18 an hour that bought some stock back in 2008 and is worth over $1 million. So that's life-changing. That's what gets us out of bed in the morning and fired up to do what we do.
Love it. And you're the man behind all the quotes I've seen in the hallways. That impresses me a lot. Culture is a very popular word these days. Everybody talks about culture. I often said in the past that you cannot talk about culture. That culture it's the walk. And as I was doing the walk around the company, nobody was talking about culture, but you can see it, you can feel it. And what motivates you with like those phrases and those quotes and those slogans on the walls? They're all yours, or someone else have input too?
No, I mean, we have a team, but I mean, yeah, a lot of it comes from my core philosophies.
Which is, give me your philosophy. Give me your core values.
We'd be here all afternoon, but I'd say, look, it starts, like I said, with dreaming big and being bold. I always said,
you have to be scared.
Small goals don't stir people's souls. If you want to motivate and inspire people, dream big and think big and act big. Even when we were a small 6-location company back in 2008, we immediately strategically chose to buy companies in Seattle, Chicago, Dallas, and Georgia to tell the industry, we're not going to stay a small little regional Florida company. We're going coast to coast right out of the gate. So everything we've done is with intent, but it starts back to what I said about a people first culture. We were watching big companies in our industry get very myopic and focused on process and procedure and rigor. And we thought they're taking the fun out of running the business. The great thing about the roofing industry is there's amazing people in it, huge relationship capital. And we wanted to be the home for the people that had the relationships with the roofing contractors, the relationships with our suppliers. We still today consider all of our suppliers as personal friends, all of our customers as personal friends, and all of our employees as part of our family. So it's a different touch. That's harder to do, but you're exactly right. Culture is not something you put on a PowerPoint presentation or you put on the wall. Culture can only be measured by the vibe and energy that you walk through an office, and the employees either love their company or they can't wait for 5 o'clock so they can get out the door and go home. We joke that our employees get speeding tickets on the way to work in the morning, not on the way home, which is what we want. But it's all about talent, but talent does nothing for you if it's not engaged. And so everything we built of the architecture of the company, the operating philosophy and everything, our comp systems, we have the richest compensation systems in the industry. We have the wealthiest 401k retirement plans. We have the biggest share program to have equity ownership of all our employees. All that was by design to get engagement at the highest level. But you also have to have fun. You can't let bad leaders come in. We don't want you if you're just not a nice person to people. So that all feeds to the getting and attracting the right amount of talent. And then let them have fun. And don't tell them how to do things and the details. Don't micromanage. Just tell them what you want to go do and let them come up with the solution. So all of that, it's provide resources, open environment, collaboration. You've seen it as you walked around, the innovation. We're already thinking about how to make our company not be able to compete with ourselves tomorrow. That's the whole model of the company. Is the company we will become tomorrow the company we are today won't be able to compete with the company we are tomorrow. And that's that whole focus on continuous improvement. And we feel like, we don't have to disrupt our industry. We're not trying to be disruptive, but we are absolutely trying to lead forward on customer engagement, customer experience, and use of technology to wow our customers at every touch point. And we're close to really breaking some new frontiers on that. And I'm excited about the investment. And our board of directors and our management team are committed to spend more money than I think anybody else is in our industry to really lean in on technology.
And you are disrupting. You're already third largest, fastest growing.
For sure.
I woke up and I published on our group. We have 4,300 members online, and I asked, I did not tell people that I'm going to be interviewing you. So my question was, what questions would you ask CEOs of Beacon, ABC, or SRS distribution? And I have 38 comments. So I'll pick few from those, but I also have few mine.
Sure.
You mentioned earlier, and I've heard it many times before, your employee can buy stock. What about outsiders? Can I buy stock of SRS?
No, we're not a public company. We're still private, and we try to stay as private as long as we can. But that's by intent. The whole point is to share wealth with the people that are working so hard to grow the company and to deliver such great returns.
To buy your stock, I have to.
You have to come work for us. Yeah, you got to come work here in some capacity. Maybe you'll be part of
I can do YouTube.
Digital communication executive for us or something. But
give me a job part time where I'll work for free if I can buy a stock.
But that's a big deal. There's great companies in our industry that are massive, like ABC. So none of their employees can share in that wealth creation. One of the nice things you have here, or in a public company in our industry, is everybody can buy as much stock as they want. But we still have 25% ownership of the company as employees, which at our size, as you mentioned earlier, passing by $4 billion, and honestly, I think we'll be $5 billion by the end of this year. We're creating a lot of wealth for our employees, which is a big deal. And it includes every frontline employee. I'm proud of that too. Every driver, every loader, every inside salesperson. Not one employee doesn't benefit from wealth creation. Last year, we gifted $20 million of equity in the company to all of our frontline hourly employees, and they had to do nothing for it other than just stay here and keep working for the company. And at some point down the future, we'll monetize that for them and pay them out a big lump sum payout at our next liquidity event.
Love it. Have you looked yet into buying electric trucks?
We're already talking about autonomous vehicles. We're already in partnership with a lot of our manufacturers that sell us our entire fleet and all of our fleet needs on what's coming. We're working on robotic technology. We'd love to solve and be the first to solve putting roofing on the roof without having to put people on the roof to unload the actual boom or conveyor. So we're already working on technology that's advancing quickly on that front. Tons of things around safety and keeping our contractors and our employees safe. But look, autonomous vehicles for inbound freight from our manufacturer partners is going to be here sooner rather than later. Delivering to the job site is going to be tricky, right? Because you have power lines, you have trees, you have topography, you have cars moving around. A job site is like the least predictable place on the planet, right? We're not in a manufacturing plant. We're not at our warehouses where we can kind of predict what's going to happen. So it's very tough to solve like a autonomous driven delivery truck that's a conveyor or boom, right? Because of safety and everything else. But also the job site just changes. It could have just rained and now the truck's sinking, or the outrigger didn't go down at the right place. So there has to be human intervention, we think, in the delivery model for quite a while. But inbound freight, it'll help. Full truckloads of shingles coming from our manufacturing partners. I definitely think that Google and some others have figured out how to retro the trucks and get them here safely, where eventually we can have computerized delivery trucks in the middle of the night bringing our shingles to our branches, and then eventually I think we'll have autonomous forklifts unloading them and putting them away, and nobody even has to be at the branch. So it's coming, and we want to be on the front end of all that stuff.
Wow, you just described the future. I love it. Sounds like a movie, but we're already living in a movie. If you grew up in 90s and 2000s, and I remember watching those movies about robots and 3D technology, and now it's all in our phones. It's crazy how fast technology travels.
There's more power in that iPhone than used to be in the entire Apollo spaceship that took people to the moon. It's amazing. The innovation is going to change the landscape. You're going to see two big things change the next decade. One is you're going to see a huge shift to a heavy emphasis on the Latino contractor. We are already seeing it. The amount of Spanish-speaking first language owned businesses in the contracting professions is spiking through the roof because they're willing to do the work. And now they're going from just pure laborers to owning their own companies, and they're thriving. So they are going to absolutely drive a huge part of the demographic shift of the contractor population. The second shift you're going to see is you have tens of thousands of roofing contracting businesses that are run by baby boomer era people that want to transition that company to their sons or family daughters, or sell the companies or transition to some of their employees. So you're going to see a migration of 60s age people selling companies or transferring companies in succession planning to 30-year-olds that want technology everywhere. They want to order everything off their phone. They never want to come off the roof or come out of the job site. They never want to come to our branch, but they want to get everything done on the phone, and not just during business hours. If they want to order all their roofs for this week, it's at the kitchen table on Sunday evening or afternoon. They should be able to do that. And with us, they can already do that.
Love it. Chris Porosky says, I believe each branch manager shares in the profit revenue of that branch. That's what we're talking. What if they had a program to let their contractors participate in a small percentage of that? We would be vested in seeing them succeed, a retirement plan of some sort to build equity with them. Just a thought. So would you ever let contractors who buy from you the most to buy some shares?
No, again, it's part of our structure. I would love to let people, if we became public, we can't prohibit who buys our stock. So if we ever go public, obviously every roofer or every builder or even every homeowner can buy our stock, but we're just not there yet. We're not ready for that part of our phase of growth. And we're not done yet being private and finishing the movie on what we want to go do for our employees first and foremost. But I would tell you, we already do it in a way. And every roofing contract we sell can have their own equity program and give as much of their profits to their own employees and emulate or simulate what we do. But some of the bigger contracts that we have rebates with, they get it in that form, but they get it in the form of a better price or a rebate as opposed to equity.
Love it. Sean Urick asks, are there programs they have to give back to each local community? Is there a difference in how private and publicly traded company address this?
Yeah, I think every company addresses the way they give back differently. I can't really speak to my competitors and what they do. I think most of them all do pretty good things for people all across the board. We chose to, because our employees really wanted us to do it, we chose to start our own foundation, which again, you've probably heard of, the SRS Raise the Roof Foundation. And kind of we chose to support three main pillars in that foundation. One is veterans causes, because we feel like the only reason we're in this country and we get to provide and run this great business and this great company in a great industry is our military is out there protecting our freedom and the chance to even build this company from what we have since '08. So we have a debt of gratitude to every veteran that's ever served and currently serves. And we have a huge commitment. I made a commitment a couple of years ago to hire 500 veterans as some of the wars overseas were coming to an end. And I think we've almost achieved the whole 500 early. We were going to do it in 5 years. I think we got it done in 3 years. So the veterans is one. Another is people, because we benefit, unfortunately, from weather-related disasters. We also give heavily to people that are impacted by tornadoes, windstorms, and hurricanes. So that's a big part of the foundation, giving back to anybody impacted by weather-related disasters. And the last is giving to families, women, children that are in need in our local communities. A lot of that's done in the DFW market, the Dallas-Fort Worth market, because that's our home base. But our branches are allowed to do whatever they want locally for whoever they want and give back as well. And then we also pay them paid time off to go volunteer as well. So every employee in the company can take a full day and go volunteer at any charity they want, and we pay their salary that day they're gone just to volunteer. So we want to get people giving back, not just with their pocketbook, but with their time as well.
Well, Dustin Bigler's question. What keeps you going?
What keeps me going? I get out of bed in the morning fired up to change the lives of the 6,000 people that I get the great fortune to work with. I mean, it's no secret probably to most that this industry has been very good to the senior management team and the executives here. But what I'm proud of is we have shared that wealth to everyone in the company, and we can make life-changing events for so many people, and not just our employees. I believe by being associated with as a supplier, we're helping you gain wealth as well. And if you're associated with us on the customer side, we're going to help you grow wealth as well. That's our job. Our job is by definition, every contract that buys from us instead of somewhere else, we should be making them more money, which is why we open up everything we have here resource-wise. We just don't want to be a supplier. We don't want to just deliver product the right quantity at the right time at the right place. If people say, hey, Dan, I want to acquire another roofing contracting business, we open up our whole M&A team to tell them how to go buy a company. If they say, hey, I don't know how to advertise to do college recruiting, my college recruiting team is available to every contractor we want to help them set up their own recruiting program. So our whole company is built to serve the customer, whatever they need. If they have a labor shortage, we'll go help them find subs. If they have a marketing problem, we'll put our digital marketing team and help give them advice. So look, we're a partner to our customers and we're a partner to our suppliers, and we want to be fully integrated. But we don't believe we win by taking advantage of our suppliers or our customers. We only win by making our suppliers wealthier and our customers wealthier at the same time. So all three of us win at the same time.
Love it. What are the challenges we don't see as a contractors that distributors do?
I think safety is the biggest thing. I don't think most contractors appreciate how much time, energy, and work we have to put in. Think about all the distracted drivers. Think about 2,500 trucks making 15,000 job site deliveries a day. Think of all of that.
15,000?
Yeah, and that's just us, and that's just not even in the peak season. So think about the risk. 48,000 pounds of weight of shingles on the truck going down the highway at 75 miles an hour. Forget even getting to the job site and then booming it up and putting it on the roof, and not having one of our employees fall through a skylight that wasn't covered properly or not tie off properly.
You guys actually get to the news all the time too. Every time pallet goes through the roof, it's a local coverage somewhere.
Oh, of course. But again, it's not about, we're not hiding from the news. It's more about, I have a commitment to all of our employees' families that their husbands and wives come home every day safely. So I have a huge obligation, and I don't get to have them all in a manufacturing plant where I can see them all and make sure that line is safe and they're not doing anything unsafe. They're spread out all over, not only all over the country, but they're at every job site that I don't know. It could be somebody that's installing the windows up on the roof, throws a piece of plywood off and hits our guy in the head. We didn't do anything wrong. We didn't do anything unsafe, but it's an environment that is unsafe by nature. So there's so many things we have to do to keep our people safe. I mean, just again, delivering, as you know, just driving down the highway with a big truck with people whizzing in and out of traffic is hard enough. But then when you get to the job site and putting product up on a roof and using booms around electrical lines, just so many things can go wrong. It's very hard to control that environment. So I think the investment, not just us, I think all of the distributors do a pretty good job really caring for safety, not only for our employees, but our customers as well, and the homeowner.
I love this question. What is the most important metric that you track internally? You can tell us. That's the Bigler's question.
Yeah, I would tell, he might be surprised at the answer to this one. I would tell you it's employee net promoter score, which is basically how likely are you to recommend to anyone else, your neighbor, your family member, to come work for this company.
What's the number now?
I want to say our employee net promoter score is like in the high 70s, but it's on a negative like 100 to plus 100 score. But basically, the way net promoter score is, if you don't get a 9 or a 10, which is you get a plus 1. If you are like an 8, you get nothing, and if it's 7 to 0 rating, you get a minus 1. And so you add up all of those. So basically, if almost every person isn't what I would call a raving fan of your company and say, absolutely, it's the best place to work, then you get downgraded to, if you say, it's okay, you're a 0. And if it's good, but it's not top class. And that's what matters to me. Again, if we ever fail, because I can't service contractors if 6,000 people that work here don't like their job. I guarantee you can't name one company that has good service that has bad morale, bad employee morale engagement. So my first job is to get 60,000 people to get out of bed and say, I can't wait to get to work today. And I love my company, and my company's taking great care of me. And my company's going to let me change my life by the fact that I'm part owner of this company. And I think that's the key. And everything we built kind of stems off of that. And then because of that, I think our customers notice that level of commitment, that level of service, that, hey, our people will go above and beyond for our customers because they love the company so much. And they view it as, hey, I'm part owner of this company, so it matters to me too.
Wow. John McLean asked why they don't have a podcast.
That's a good question. I've been on many podcasts, and anytime I get asked, like yourself, I'm happy to do it. We do an internal podcast, though, for our employees, because I feel like, especially going through COVID, they needed constant communication directly from me of what I was seeing, what I was worried about, what I wasn't worried about. They're all shareholders, so they deserve to hear it from me. I work for them. So to me, I get to serve them. But yeah, the big thing about that is, I guess we're not arrogant enough to think people really care what we think, but we're always excited to do it when people ask and be a part of it. But it's not something that we want to brag and feel like, we have to always think we know more than everybody else. Look, we learn every day in this industry from great people. Everybody we meet, we learn stuff from. So I guess we just don't feel like we're the ones qualified to go do a podcast, even though it might benefit people in the industry.
I don't agree with it. I believe, here's what I teach. I teach that every company, small or big, have to have a YouTube channel, have to have like your media company first. You said it best. You wanted internal communication, but you never know who needs to hear that. Like this message, there's so many people in the world who needs to hear it. So once you have a YouTube channel or podcast or whatever, you start producing content on a regular basis, it's not for them or for you to, it's not an arrogant thing. It's you documenting your journey. I mean, I would love to listen to you 10 years ago and today. I mean, think about it. Like, I'm an immigrant. I came here in 2005, and the biggest regret I have now that I did not have a camera. I did not document the journey. I was sleeping in the car for a month, when I was getting paid $6 an hour. Like, I have the journey where I opened 5 businesses, and 3 of them, I have nothing to show for. I don't even have a picture. I opened and sold flooring business, and I don't have single video of me installing floors. Wow. And it's kind of crazy. Like, and now I'm a media person. I record myself all the time. I do 3-5 videos per week. And when I started roofing business, my first videos were because I was not confident in front of a camera. I have at the time, 7-year-old daughter and 6-year-old son. And I made my first couple of videos. The coolest thing I have now, I go back and it's like, Anastasia, do you remember this video, how to choose a roofing color? Right. It's the coolest thing ever. But I documented that journey, and now I'm selling my roofing business. And it's a legacy to teach your kids and show them what their dad was doing. Yeah. It's documenting your life, but it's also sharing, it's inspiring just to watch someone's journey. Sure. So I want you to rethink.
All right, I think you won me over on that issue. I'll consider it.
It's not arrogant thing to do.
All right.
All right. What type of roofing contractors do you see out there? Give me a couple types who buys from SRS.
I think the types we enjoy the most are the ones that, again, like I mentioned earlier, value relationships, and they think about the industry strategically, not transactionally. So to me, what I mean by that is they're willing to come and tell us, hey, I need you to be competitive on this quote, but I also have another job going on that I don't need you to be as competitive on. And because I know I squeezed you on this one, I'm gonna let you make some more money on there, because I know you have to make enough returns to operate these $400,000 trucks and pay good salespeople and pay competent people and stock millions of dollars of inventory in every location. That costs money. So they understand the value proposition of what all of us do as distributors, especially the ones that do it well. And so to me, it's the ones that have a very good business acumen and understand that nothing's free. And it's really about just trade-offs and deciding what's important to you as a contractor and how integrated you're willing to be, and how open and honest you're willing to be with a supplier partner to share openly. Because I think you'll find no contractor that deals with us will say we're not an open book. We'll share openly on how we can help you think of ideas to make more money, that we both can make more money together. It's not again, like I said, a fine line where if I take $1 from you, it's coming from you to me. We're trying to go find $2 and you get an extra $1 and I get an extra $1. That's our goal. So it's a very holistic view. So that's one type of contractor. I'd say we'll just call it strategic. There's a lot that we deal with that are not. We'll call them transactional. They only buy from the lowest price. They really don't care about the other things. And you know what? They hop around all the time. They'll stay with you for a week, then they're gone. They show back up 2 months later and say, my favorite distributor that I've been buying from lately doesn't have the product, so I have to come back. Well, now I don't feel they're very loyal, so we say, okay, well, we can get you the product, but we have 5 other contractors that want that product. We have it in stock for them. They don't want to appreciate the fact we're going to give it back to you since you've been partnering with somebody different. So I think just understanding how long-term you can partner up with a supplier that can add a lot of value for you, even if you have to pay $1 a square more. There's a lot more value you should get out of that relationship.
Do you guys see a lot of chuck on the trucks in this area in general?
It's different. Like in the Northeast, you really don't have a pure roofing contractor. You have mostly remodeling people because the aging housing stock in the Northeast part of the country, people that do roofing do siding, windows, decking, gutter. So it's a different type of customer. Then in the South, you have big roofing contractors that are just residential. You have big commercial guys that do just tier 1 commercial. And then you have hybrid that do both. And then you have guys that only work in their home city or go and travel. And then you have stormers that, probably they hate that term, but the people that work insurance work as their primary strength. And they go set storms wherever they think insurance pays well.
Give advice to a roofing business owner.
I would tell you that if you're not investing heavily in technology, you are going to be disrupted. If you don't lead in marketing, if you don't understand how to tie into your suppliers, tie into digital, tie into your employees, tie into crews, everything I think in 10 years is going to be super fast-paced, instantaneous. Everyone's going to move to the digital era, handheld phones, forget laptops and iPads. It's all going to be on the phone or even a smaller device. Everything's going to be pretty much 24/7 service, connectivity, anything. And we're trying to move our company from a distribution company to an ecosystem, an online ecosystem where you can do everything from send us an address and we can tell you the Eagle View measurements. We can tell you that home was hailed on 2 years ago to the day, 1-inch hail. It was hailed on 4 years ago. We have all the weather data going back for years. And we have weather connectivity. We have measurement systems. We have marketing material. We could even write your quote for you and put your logo on it to where we could even send it to the homeowner while you're sleeping at midnight. And then say, the homeowner says, I accept. And yes, my insurance company's paying for it. I'm paying the deductible. And yes, SRS delivered that 8 years ago when it got hailed last time. Yes, I want to use the same roof for the same distributor. And they hit yes and a green button on their phone, and instantly the material's there the next day with potentially a autonomous driven forklift pulling the order and an autonomous truck delivering it to the job site. But we're a little bit further from some of that.
Or maybe drone.
Yeah, drones it'd be a big drone to carry heavy shingles and stuff. But the point is if you're afraid of technology, you have to hire some young people, or I shouldn't say young, some innovative people on your team that are not afraid of technology to help you. And if you're a small chuck in the truck, that's okay. We will create the apps and the tools you need from the Roof Hub app that you really don't even need an IT team. We'll be able to teach you all of it. And what is going to happen is the distributor sales rep is going to turn in more to a technology specialist to help our customers adopt the technology that's going to change their life and free up so much of their time. No more opening envelopes, paying bills on the kitchen table with a check. All that'll be digital. Do you want to pay SRS your entire bill the day the cash discounts due on every month on the 5th of the month? Yes. You hit this button and every month it just auto drafts out of your account. You don't need a payables person. You don't need anything. everything can go digital and connected, but you have to trust your partners. Most homeowners in the United States, if you ask them, they don't even know the name of the color or the manufacturer of the roof they have on
They
their
don't
house.
remember a company who installed their shingles.
For sure.
Like I asked them
Unless
all
it
the
was
time,
in the last couple of years, yeah.
well, no, who did your roof 5 years or 3 years ago? We don't remember. We don't know.
But you know what we're doing? We're saving all that information. But if we delivered we save it in our database forever. So now we can say, back in 2012, you used AAA roofing. But in 2019, when you had the hailstorm, you used XYZ contracting. And we can tell them which one did you like better and which one did you think gave you a better experience. And so they pick, and we can forward that lead right on.
One of the contractors on our recommendation list actually XYZ. because when
it's a good name because people are going to use it like I did. Yeah.
And someone just I asked him, how did you come up with the name? And they were like, well, ABC was taken, so we're like, let's do it XYZ, and now you're giving them free publicity.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
Well, thank you so much for your time, for the tips. We'll definitely stay in touch. It was amazing.
Yeah. Thanks, buddy. Enjoyed it.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.